So 1 point perspective is great for drawing exteriors, but it's also really good for drawing interiors. So I'm going to start with recognizing that horizon line. I'm not going to keep it all the time, so I'm just going to make my life easy and draw it very lightly. I'm going to pick about the middle of the page because I want to give myself quite a bit of room to put that vanishing point. And then I'm going to kind of, if I was looking at a space, I would speculate how much of the actual ground I was seeing. Or I'm just going to give myself a little more ground because I have more space to work in. These lines are going to be aiming for parallel. And then I'm coming up on the side here. Looking at the exterior of the page is also a way. The ceiling is not as much fun to draw, I don't think. Some people get into it, but I just don't. So I'm not giving myself as much ceiling here. Now, to make those walls go back into space, I am linking the vanishing point to these exterior sides. And now if I was a little bit to the side, this would change considerably. If I was standing on one side of the room or the other, I could have this change. But I'm positioning myself in the middle of this back wall. That angle would be different. So I'm not drawing it all the way through because, again, I just don't need a ton of extra lines to erase. So now I have my room, which is pretty cool. Now I'm going to say that this is pretty fun to turn this into a dream bedroom. What would you really want? Or your actual bedroom, whichever way is kind of fun. Or if you want to do a different room, that is fine. I'm going to show you how to do a bedroom because that has some factors that are fun to draw and kind of help explain some other parts. So we're going to start off by, let's say I'm going to put the bed over on this corner. So we're starting with the perpendicular parts. I usually would have the bed up to the wall, so I'm going to come all the way over to the edge, and this is going to be the edge of the mattress, the foot of the bed. Come up, excuse me. I'm going to go ahead and put some feet on the bed, but I'm up, yeah, see, should have started, actually, go back over here, pull yourself back. It's going to be the bottom of the bed, and I'm going to come up a little bit taller. And that's going to be where the bottom feet are. See, now that put it up to the wall. See, I need the feet up to the wall. I'm going to give them a little bit of thickness. This is going to make sense in a minute, I swear. There's not going to be an actual, sometimes there's a footboard and a headboard. I'm not going to put that on here. You could, but I want you to be able to see what's going on with the bed. Now I want this to go all the way back to hit the edge of the wall here. So I need to link this edge to the vanishing point. Now it's all the way back to there because the bed's going to extend. And then I go back, just like we were building those boxes of the house. This corner is all dictated by here. I'm eyeballing where I think about this would end. The edge of this part of the bed. Back here. And this is going to be perpendicular to this. And then I'm drawing this down. How far down does this go? Well, it should probably be there, but let's double check. Yep, look at that. Okay. It's going to give me the edge of this other little part, perpendicular, and then up. The edge of this bed, the thickness of the foot, the bed. Let's erase some of this to make this a little bit easier to see. Once all these things are inside, it makes it feel like this hollow thing, which is very hard to see what's going on. Okay, so then I like a pillow. I know I'm such a comfort snob, but I do like a pillow. You could put dust bunnies underneath the bed, or those captain beds. Sometimes they have like drawers underneath. People have those, or some people have hideaway beds underneath the beds for like sleepovers, which are so cool. I always wanted one of those. Okay, so let's give myself a pillow. Now, the pillow is going to play along the same idea. Maybe about there looks about right. Just to give myself some thickness, but I'm kind of curious about how this would respond. So everything kind of exists still in boxes and rectangles until you can see what's happening. And once you've got that, so that's the, see, now I'm going to make sure this is getting smaller back there, right? Then I can go in and soften this up. Oh yeah, this is looking way more comfortable. I'm going to have the kind of pillowcase come over the edge here. This could also tell me where some of the shadow or the shading might be, because that would come around like that. I could make my sheets come off to the side because I like to make my bed. It's like a present, you know. I'm really into this whole idea. See, I'm going to kind of just soften this up. So I had a hard edge for this bed, but that doesn't look very comfortable. It's really a thick, nice bed though. And so I'm just going to soften everything up a little bit so that this looks a little softer. And this is going to be the edge of my blanket. I can make it quilted if I had my down comforter on there. That's going to soften the bed up quite a bit. Okay, but I'm going to need spot to put some things away. So let's make... yeah, I changed my mind here, and this is what's kind of cool, is I want to show you some more stuff. So I just decided I don't want to see so much of this wall because I actually wanted to show you how to draw a dresser and a shelf. And I didn't give myself very much wall. So look, I'm just editing. I'm pulling this all the way down here. But that's, yeah, I now instantly have so much more wall to deal with. Okay. So let's go ahead and put, it's going to be a little bit angled and short, a little skinny of a room. But let's go ahead and say I'm just kind of giving myself a floor plan here. So here's the bookshelf. And actually we're going to put the bookshelf in front because those are a little more complicated. And so this is going to be that front edge of the dresser. Put that into the camera screen. This is the world of perpendicular. So this has to be straight up and down. I'm just going to use the back edge of here. And look, it's like the thickness of the ruler. I love it when life does that. You're like, thank you. And then this is going to come across. Okay, so I live in the world of things being sucked to the vanishing point. So I'm coming back to here. Just the edge where I just figured out where the dresser was. Back to here. And here. Now this might be the shelf that has my books all on it. This, again, though, this is weird. This is a spot where a lot of people flip it up and then want to go like this or do something else. But this is the land of perpendicular, so all your horizontals are true horizontals. So see how that pushes it down. So maybe on this shelf, oh, it's so close, look at that. I have my Lego collection, my book collection. I don't know. I could draw those in, right? So then I want to make my life easier, not harder. And I should have thought about this a little bit ahead of time. Made this exactly 4 inches. That would have been so much easier. We're just going to make these nice, big, deep shelves because this is actually where I'm going to keep some serious Lego collection. Okay, so I'm going to pull back to the vanishing point. Shoop. That point's just guiding them so that they can be the same distance. If you don't do something kind of like this, your shelves get really weird, especially, you know, if it's like kind of a factory thing. If it's a homemade or an altered kind of space, that can work. Now look, this could be a dresser right now. Maybe we'll just do it like this. This could be a dresser. These would be straight down, but I need to figure out where these go, the second line of drawer pulls. So what I would do is put this up. Now, I don't want to make my life difficult. I'm just going to make a dot. I don't need to draw the whole line. See, that's going to be a dresser, right? Yo-yo, that makes sense. But let's actually turn this into a shelf because that's a little trickier. And this land of perpendicular is going to get sucked back in. This line are parallel because they're flat. I'm going to be able to put something on our shelves. Now, I know this because I've done this before. I'm not going to go all the way back because this actually ends back here. Let's give ourselves a little guide. Perpendicular. I'm going to probably have to erase some of this, and I'm not going to be able to see it down underneath there. Where does this go? Back to my vanishing point. I can't see the front part. I can only see to here. Look at that. It's a shelf. It's so cool. Things can sit on the shelf. This is the land of perpendicular, so I'm looking at wherever I have as a guide. See, I've got that right above. That point, good. Back to the vanishing point. So there are definitely rules, but once you know them, you just play around within them, right? And then you can make cool stuff by breaking the rules. And that's part of how people do those crazy chalk drawings on the streets, and they look correct from one angle, and you flip it and you're like, what? It's all messed up, right? It's because they know how to flip perspective around. So I can put that. Now let's put a window up above the shelf. Now let's do 2 windows. So one is going to be here, and I want to show you how they're different. This is going to be parallel. Let's put this in the center of this space. Parallel. Well, here's where it gets tricky, though, because it's all about where we're standing. So I get sucked back to the vanishing point. Now I can decide how deep I want these to look. Sometimes you'll put these in and they're like, whoa, like that's a little deep. Unless I lived in this like really thick cement house or something. Think about a door jamb, like how thick a door jamb is. It's probably about how thick you want your window sills to be. And then these are going to be straight up and down. So I'm going to, what did I do here? They're different widths. Oh, it's because this is going to be smaller because it's on this side. See how it's the vanishing point is over here. So. And this is parallel. See, I didn't use a ruler for all of this, which is making it a little funky. But that's a good example of why you might want to keep using the ruler all the way through to make your life easier. Because now see how I'm having to like auto-correct all this a little bit more. Okay, so that's coming back into that space. Again, a lot of times on windows, you will see framing around to hide the imperfections of hanging a window. Okay, let's put another window here. Now this window, the lines are straight up and down, or parallel to this. And then the sides, I'm going to use the front edge, gets sucked back to the vanishing points, right? So we've got parallel, perpendicular, and vanishing point. You just keep on doing those same things over and over again, and you've got it. So this could be a TV, flat screen, or embedded into the wall. Or if I want this to be a window, I want to show the depth of that. Or if I wanted to put a frame, make it kind of stick out or something like that. So let's have this go in. Now on this wall, just like these are going to be perpendicular to this. And this is going to be parallel to this line, parallel. And then this is going to go to the vanishing point. Which theoretically, should get a little thicker up here because it's closer to us. Now that's inset. I could put plants in the window and then you're looking outside of it. Now let's say I want to make a rug. I start with the front edge, which is usually you have them pretty square in the room. And then I would take it down. Let's see, where am I going to, and it's sort of like a window, but just an opposite, right? Let's have this go back to about here. And then to the vanishing point. It's just essentially a window on the floor. If I wanted to have a wooden or checkerboard floor underneath this, I do the same kind of things, like almost like the bookshelf. Let's make this a checkerboard and we'll make this a wood floor. So this is going to be big, huge panels because I want to just show you what this is about. So I'm measuring these. Oops, put it into the camera, girlfriend. I'm measuring this out because wood is generally, if you're doing flooring, they're all pretty much the same thickness. If you're doing tiles, they're the same thickness because it doesn't, nobody wants to make their life difficult. Get different dimensions for everything. It would be crazy. So then I can have these panels of wood going back and they're getting, I should have left a little more floor for you to see back there. They're getting smaller, right? As they go back here, see this dimension? It's smaller than this dimension. Again, just going back to that vanishing point. That's all. It's the only rule I'm using right now is the vanishing point. And now we have a floor. But see how it sets down on the ground? It sets back because things are smaller as they go forward. This is crazy, right? Just a minute ago, this was a blank piece of paper. And now all of a sudden we've created this whole alter reality because this is not what my house looks like. And I've never been in this room. Well, that's weird, but I just made this room come out of nowhere, which is too weird. So maybe I need a little skinny door to get out. If I have a little skinny door, actually I can come all the way up to here. My brain says, put it flat. Tops of doors are flat. No, I cannot. I am the land of the vanishing point. See, now that sucks it onto the wall. If I don't have an actual door on here, I might show the thickness of this wall, just like this. Or perhaps the door is open. And then this again, vanishing point. Everything's locked. It's got to be perpendicular, parallel, or to the vanishing point. And then back here, maybe this wall would be like that. So now see, you can see there's another space that goes back there. So try this out. Play around with some stuff. If I wanted to make this a circular rug, this is crazy, and I shouldn't even show you this, but I'm going to. This is crazy. What are you doing, Maya? Don't show them the circle. I have to. What if they want to? Oh, you're driving me crazy. Okay, so then this goes back. This shows us the center of the circle. Oh, and actually the weird thing is, I don't know why, but the actual center, or the part where this touches, is a tiny bit back from the center. Then this is crazy. To the vanishing point. You have to make this touch, not touch here. Don't touch the side, don't touch the side. Wrap around, don't touch the side, don't touch the side. And you have to get this weird, like, just right shape. And if you get into this, quite honestly, it's so cool anymore with the internet. There's so much on the internet where you can just kind of double check, like, how do I make a circular thing? You want to make a car in perspective. You want to make there's so much of that out there that you can kind of have these basics and then build off of that. So this needs a little more tweaking, but you can kind of see how this is sitting. This side's a little stronger on the ground, rather than popping up. Okay, so play around with this 1 point perspective room.